My name is Mendes and I received the Holy Spirit. I drank so much that I completely black out. I don't even remember what happened that night. My parents separated from when I was very little, from when I was very young, because my mom caught him cheating. So as a result, when I was from the age of 7, I developed grudges against him because he was never around. Even though I had a stepfather, the fact that I didn't have my dad around, it just made the grudge grow even more because he was never there for birthdays. He would promise to come and show up, but he would never show up. And this actually hurt me so much on the inside. This affected me a great deal because now I was feeling very sad, but also I became very introverted. So I would keep myself to myself. I wouldn't talk or be very open with others, with friends, with family. I would just keep all on the inside. When I was 9, I stumbled across a TV channel for pornography. And when my parents were not around, that's when I would use the opportunity to watch it. And as I grew older, that's when things got worse, because then you have internet, and that's when the addiction developed into much worse. I came to the Universal Church when I was 13, invited by my mom. I was very active in the youth group, active in the church, but things went downhill when I decided to leave to go to university. So though I knew the truth, going to university was the opportunity to experience the lifestyle that university proposed to every youth. In the beginning, things started off well, but then with the pressure and the influence of having friends around you doing things like smoking and partying, you want to sort of join, and that's exactly what I did. As time went by, my drinking and clubbing became worse. So I would go out more often, I would drink more during the week as well as weekends. But for my final year, for third year, that's when things got out of hand. As my third year, I had to do work placement abroad. It felt like as if I was on a holiday, if anything, not working. I even experienced a blackout, or what they call it, an alcoholic coma, where I drank so much that I completely black out. I don't even remember what happened that night. On top of all of this, I started to sleep around with different guys. Because of the grudge that I had against my dad, I had the mentality that because I was hurt when I was younger, or all of that hurt that I had, I could hurt them as well by not having any commitment. Because I had already known the truth, as I was doing all of this, my mind, my inside felt so sad, so low, to the point where I felt very, very lost. Yes, I was having fun, but I knew the truth, so I felt very afraid, very scared. In my last year of university, as I was leaving my mom, she invited me to come back to the church. And that's where I was still coming, but not taking things serious. So I was still drinking, I was still smoking, I was still having sex. But because I knew the truth, I knew that deep down, I would have to make a decision to change. I was someone who was weak-minded. And as a result, it took me a while to have my deliverance. I felt guilty for the things I had done in the past. But the biggest battle, however, that I had to face was the lack of self-belief, because it led me to not be firm with my decision. So overall, it took me about 2 years for my deliverance. While attending the Wednesday and Sunday services, I learned about the importance of receiving the Holy Spirit. And even one of the messages that stood out for me was that if you don't have the Holy Spirit, you have an expiry date, that you won't be able to go until the end. So with this in mind, I realized that I had to ask my dad for forgiveness. I spoke to him face to face and let him know about all the things I had gone through on the inside when I was growing up. And he actually asked me for forgiveness. I also realized I was someone who was very emotional. I would compare myself to others who would have the experience of having the baptism with the Holy Spirit. So I just had to make a decision to not allow these things to affect my seeking. But the hardest fight for me was opening up. I had things on the inside that I had to speak to God about. I had to speak to my pastor's wife, my mother, and even my leader at the time. And because I lacked self-belief, all of these things just stir up, and I had to open up about it. As God was revealing these things to me to let go of, I determined that that Sunday I was preparing myself to receive the Holy Spirit. And during the Sunday service, that's exactly what happened. I received the Holy Spirit. During the seeking, as the assistants were laying hands on the people, that's when I received the Holy Spirit. And the assurance, the experience, it was very dry, because I just received peace and assurance that God was with me from that day onwards. So my mindset has completely changed since that day. I am someone who before was very insecure, was very doubtful, but today I have assurance on myself. I believe in myself. The things that I used to do as well, the smoking, the drinking, just to have fun, I don't need that anymore. The grudges that I held against my dad, all of that is now gone. And today I serve God as an assistant. I just have the desire to help others and to save souls. Today I can say that I'm truly happy.